Hello and welcome to Zeitgeist Banana, the podcast all about the English language, coming to you from Paris. And my special guest today is Matt Damon. Hello, Matt.
Hi there.
That's not Matt Damon, is it?
What?
Okay, no, it's John again. It's John again. But can I tell you, though, that I tried, to the listeners, I did try to get Matt Damon for the show today.
Right.
But he was too expensive. He wanted X and lots of zeros of dollars for his for him to join me here. But I sent John an email, told him all about it, and he said, "I'll do it for a packet of Pringles." That's what John said.
The packet of Pringles hasn't arrived yet.
You'll get it soon, I promise you. You'll get it soon. So I am once again joined by John.
Hello there.
From Monty English. Okay, and I'm going to start with a couple of things. First of all, I did get a complaint.
What?
Yeah, about Zeitgeist Banana, because I pronounce it Zeitgeist Banana. But I think there was a German listener who wrote in the comments. This is on our YouTube channel. He said, "Why do you say Zeitgeist? It's not it is Zeitgeist, we say." So I'm trying to correct that. In my defense, though, I would say, and I think you'll agree with me, John, that in English we do say Zeitgeist, not Zeitgeist.
We do indeed, yeah. You'll probably get another complaint because of your bad German accent.
With good reason as well.
So I would be careful if I were you. But yes, we do pronounce it, I guess, differently, don't we?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with foreign words. It's always going to be slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, we do our best, but no.
We do our best, yes.
So today I've got a few mistakes. What English speakers make. What native English speakers make.
Didn't you just make a mistake there, maybe?
Perhaps. I never make mistakes. Anyway, we're going to discuss them, and they're a bit controversial because some of them, and I want your opinion on each of them, because some of them I would say, yes, it's definitely a mistake. Don't do it.
Right.
Others, well, not really a mistake. And the third case is maybe yes, maybe no. So I want your opinion on where do they come into? Which of those three categories do they come into? Okay, but before we start, I just have one more thing, because this podcast is called Zeitgeist Banana, as you know. So we talk about the zeitgeist and the news about language this week. And there was a very interesting story which I wanted to share with you about Johnny Depp. So Johnny Depp is suing the Sun newspaper for libel because they said in their column that he beat up his wife, his ex-wife, something he denied. But what's interesting is a story came out that Johnny Depp has a tattoo. Okay, so the tattoo used to say "Winona forever." Winona Ryder was his first wife. Mm. Now, you know, in English, this is the English language part. In English, you have the suffix "o" to mock somebody, like you're a fat so mocking somebody for being fat. You're weird, you're a weirdo. You're thick, you're a thicko, for being stupid. Thick meaning stupid. Okay. So for someone who drinks too much alcohol, you can call them a
wino.
A wino, that's right, a wino. So when Johnny Depp divorced Winona Ryder, he changed his tattoo from Winona forever to Wino forever. Which
is that true?
Yes, which I thought was very funny. But apparently it caused a bit of an argument in the household.
Yeah, I suppose it would in a way. But it's quite amusing that he did that, isn't it? A quite clever way of changing his tattoo.
Quite clever. It's got a sense of humor, a self-deprecating sense of humor.
Indeed, yeah.
Okay, on to the grammar mistakes, what we make. And I hope you're going to do better than last week, Joe, because last year, I think in our test of etymology words, you only got one right, I think. So I hope you do better this time.
You did that last time. I got two right.
Two right.
Trying to make me out to be worse than I am. actually twice as good as you think I am.
That's true. You got zeitgeist right, but you pronounced it wrongly.
That's very true. Yes, but I'm hoping today that I don't have to do anything like that.
No. So in this, I know it's not really a quiz. I'm just going to ask you some questions and tell us what you think. These are what some people consider to be grammatical mistakes that native English speakers make, but they're controversial. Some of them you might say, yes, definitely a mistake. Don't do it. Please, for God's sake, don't do that. Correct it. Others, maybe yes, maybe no. And third category, well, actually, it's okay. I don't think it's a mistake at all. So, are you ready?
Yes, ready as I'll ever be.
So the first one is the split infinitive.
Yeah.
So to boldly go where no man has gone before. So the split infinitive, in case you don't know, is when you put a word between the to and the infinitive part of the word. Okay. And again, I got an angry comment on the YouTube channel. I'll quote it for you here. I've got it here. Here you are. This is the quote. "You keep splitting infinitives. Are you really the right person to teach us English?"
Well,
that's what they said.
Well, it's fair enough. I wouldn't say that for that reason, but for other reasons. But yes,
okay, fair enough. What about the split infinitive? Where do you stand on that?
I'm going to agree that it's fine.
I would say it's fine. To really learn a language, you need to split infinitive.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say I say it's a complete nonsense. I mean, you need to split in infinitive. So here's the example. Yes, the example I gave before. To really learn a language, you need to do this. That's the split infinitive. But how else would you say it? I mean, the idea is you put the adverb part before the infinitive or after the verb. So really to learn a language? No, that's wrong. To learn really a language, you need to do this. To learn a language really? No, it doesn't really work. I think it's a nonsense rule, and it's not even a rule.
So where does it come from? I'm interested to know why that's potentially seen as a mistake.
Apparently, it comes from Greek scholars, because I really don't know. There might be some Greek listeners here, but in Greek, there's some kind of rule that you shouldn't split an infinitive, and somebody back in the day tried to apply that rule to English. And although sometimes it may sound better to not split the infinitive, it's not a rule. You just write what sounds good. You must remember to never split an infinitive.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move on to the next one, and that is putting a preposition at the end of a sentence. Yes.
So I'm supposed to comment on that, am I?
So instead of saying, "What are you looking at?" you should say, "At what are you looking?" Yeah. So tell me, is it nonsense? Is it maybe yes, maybe no? Or is it good? Or should we correct that?
You mean putting the preposition at the beginning?
Well, no. I mean, is it okay to put a preposition at the end of the sentence?
Yes, totally fine. I do that all the time. In fact, I would I mean, if you put it at the beginning, it would sound a bit ridiculous and pompous, wouldn't it?
Well, exactly. And that's what I think Winston Churchill said. Well, this is the sort of English up with which I will not put. just to show what nonsense that so-called rule is.
Is it a so-called rule? Wow. Didn't know that.
I've heard it before. No, again, it's nonsense. I think the opposite is true. Often it sounds more natural, more fluid to put the preposition at the end. You don't have to put the preposition in, but I think it sounds more natural. Okay, so we agree that's another nonsense rule.
Yeah. So 100% so far, 2 out of 2.
The next one, and that is, I think you find this one a controversial one, the difference between fewer and less. Shall I explain the grammar, or do you want to explain the grammar there? The difference between fewer and less.
I might get it wrong, so don't complain if I do. But fewer, I guess, is with countable nouns.
Yes.
So, yes, there are fewer people here today, or there are fewer listeners because of our complaints. And then you would say I have less water than before because I've drank some of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we have less time than we thought. Yeah, exactly. But some people will use less in all situations. So there are less people listening. You hear, and yeah, the common one is in the supermarket. There are a lot of complaints about the sign which says this checkout is for those who have 8 items or less, and it should be 8 items or fewer. Okay?
Oh, I've never noticed that.
A lot of people complain about that. I've seen it before. But for you, John, is that a mistake, or is it like the other two? Is it nonsense, or is it a maybe yes, maybe no?
Well, I would say it's a mistake, but also I wouldn't worry if a native speaker used that. And the fact that I've been to the supermarket probably a million times and never even thought about that shows you it's not really a big one.
No, I think it falls into the maybe category.
Yes.
I think if you're writing formal written English, to me, sometimes it sounds nicer, fewer people. Maybe it's just because that's what I'm used to saying. It sounds nicer. However, you have to recognize that so many people will say less cars rather than fewer cars, less tomatoes rather than fewer tomatoes. So many people say it that you've got to accept that it's correct. However, fewer is a nice word, so I do encourage people to use it when they can. So I would say it's a maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. I totally agree with your assessment.
We've never agreed so much before, John.
I know, it's 3 out of 3. It's
strange.
incredible.
Yeah, it
incredible.
Is. Okay, what about the next one? Okay, it gets more difficult, I think. Me and John went to the pub. Now, native English speakers will say that, but would you say it's correct?
Are winos.
What?
Sorry, I was just adding the end of it. We're not really. But
so would you like to say why it's incorrect and what the correct grammar is?
Yeah,
I
usually pull my students up on this one, and I would say Jon and I. But I also say that most native speakers would say me and John. Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the things where, again, if you wrote it in a more formal context, you definitely wouldn't say me. You would say, yeah, Jon and I. So I think in spoken English, we all generally use it, don't we? It's just a kind of lazy way of speaking. But also, I think if you say Jon and I, it sounds as a little bit posh in a way, even though it's correct.
I agree with you, actually.
Wow.
I'll just add that if anyone's listening and they're not sure which one to use, if like me and John went to the pub, if you remove the other person from the sentence, so in this case, and John, you just leave in the me, does it make any sense? Me went to the pub. It doesn't make any sense, obviously. So you say, I went to the pub. So you know it's wrong. If you analyze the sentence, you know it's wrong. The other thing is that I think in English, it is traditional or conventional to put the other person first and not be so selfish. So John comes before me. Otherwise, I'm just being selfish, talking about myself all the time. Jon and I went to the pub. So I think I totally agree with you. Lots of people would say, I'd probably say that. Quite a lot. But if I'm writing it, I'll reflect and I will change it.
Or you could say
Jon and I.
You could say Jon and me, though, couldn't you? That way you put me first, but then you also make the mistake.
Yeah, I guess you could. But if you're going to correct half the sentence, why didn't you just correct it all?
Good point.
Yeah, fair enough. So...
But I think I should always go first. So on that basis, yeah, let's say Jon and I are much better.
Okay. So we agree again.
Yes.
Okay.
We do.
Right. The next one, you ready for the next one? And this is literally, using literally to mean figuratively. It literally took me 1,000,000 years to set up the microphone today.
Yeah, well, that's true, isn't it?
Literally true. But
it's literally true.
But you do hear a lot of people using literally. It literally destroyed my life not having that they didn't have soy milk at Starbucks.
Yeah, that would literally destroy my life. I wouldn't go to Starbucks in the first place, but yeah.
No. So where do you stand on this literally being used figuratively?
I don't like it because I think often when people use it, they're trying to sound a bit smart and they're using it wrongly, so therefore they don't sound smart.
I think it's usually okay because once again, if people are using it like that, then you have to accept that it's correct. However, I have a problem when it's overused. It's just being used all the time, becomes annoying. And the other thing is that in some sentences, it just sounds ridiculous. You say he was so angry, he literally exploded. Really? Just you leave yourself open to ridicule in those. So I think it's okay, but be cautious with it. Be cautious with it. That would be my opinion. I've literally got another million questions for you, but I won't have time for all of them. So I'm going to come down to just a couple more, okay, on my list. And so the next one is, I feel good. How do you feel? Yeah, I feel good. I feel good. Yeah, he did good in his exam. Is that right?
Well, it's not right. I suppose we've taken this from the Americans, haven't we? Potentially. I mean, I guess in Britain we would do this less than.
So tell everyone the correct answer and why
he did well.
He did well. So good is the adjective in this case, anyway, and well is the adverb.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I think I kind of picked this thing, or I have picked this up from the fact that Americans would typically say that, or perhaps Australians as well. They would say that too. But I know it's wrong. I mean, of course it's wrong, but it's just, again, it's just a way of speaking, isn't it?
Yeah, I would split it up. I say it's just so common now to say I feel good that I feel it's okay. However, in other situations, like he did good in his exam or something, I still feel that, yeah, it should be well in that situation.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It doesn't sound right, does it, if you say he did good? Yeah,
doesn't sound right. Certainly not in written English. Even spoken English is questionable. But I feel good. Yeah, that's going to pass.
Also, there's the song, isn't there? So the song,
James Brown.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you can sing it if you want.
I feel good. Do, 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 do.
Thank you.
That one. Everybody knows it well.
Yeah, but just because James Brown sang it doesn't mean it's grammatically correct. Not everything you hear in songs is grammatically correct.
Yeah, well, that's true, isn't it? I mean, I think that's a very interesting point, isn't it? That songs, I guess, they have artistic license. Is that what you would call it? Where they change the way you would say things to make it sound more tuneful, I suppose, don't they? Would that be right?
Also, when a song is too grammatically correct, it sounds a bit weird. So, for example, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Now, if you were going to sing, there isn't any sunshine when she's not here, I don't think it would have been a hit.
Well, that's the key, isn't it? Really, it's whether it's a hit or not, or it could be a hit or not.
Well, I've got one more for you.
Okay.
And this one is kind of a difficult one, actually. Neither of them is here today. Neither of them are here today, which is correct.
Neither of them is here today.
You would say that? Yeah. I would probably say that, but I'm not sure, though, if I would. I think if I'm thinking about it and writing, I'd probably say neither of them is, because neither means this one or that one, so to take a singular verb. But probably in conversation, like a lot of people, it's next to the word them, so I might put an R, I might put a plural verb. What do you think? Neither of them are coming. Sounds okay. Neither of them is coming.
Yeah, it does sound okay, doesn't it? I mean, again, this is probably something that I've never really thought about. So that in a sense means that both sound okay to me.
Yeah. So I think again, I think some maybe yes, maybe no. I think maybe in written English. I'm not even sure myself. I think in written English I would say neither of them is, though I might need to investigate that further.
Yes, I think you should. I mean, these things are open to interpretation, as we said earlier, aren't they, to some extent?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, you did pretty well. Well, we agreed on most of the things.
So I would have done badly if I hadn't agreed with you on most of the things.
That, of course, if you disagree, then you won't get your packet of Pringles. I'll say, well, at least you're cheaper than Matt, whatever. You're cheaper than Matt Damon. But it has been a pleasure to have you here with us again today.
Yes, I always enjoy it. I always enjoy it. It's always a pleasure.
I'll remind everyone that you can listen to John's podcast. Tell everyone what it's called.
So English with Monty, and we just released an episode with well, I guess he's a friend now, but it was a student that came over to London, and he's doing a short interview with me about his experience in London learning English. So that's an interesting one.
Okay, great. And you'll also find me on one of your upcoming podcasts as well. Me and John will be on the podcast.
Yes, indeed. Yes, it's going to be about idioms. So It's going to be about time idioms. So that's definitely one to tune in for.
Excellent. And of course, you can check out our YouTube channel, Let Them Talk TV. Find us on YouTube and catch this podcast. We're going to do it pretty regularly, hopefully every week, maybe not every week, but pretty regularly. So thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next time.